Hello, and welcome to this exciting module on gaining consumer insights. I'm Professor Neha Yadav, and today we are going to embark on a fascinating journey into the world of marketing research. So, in this particular module, we are going to cover about consumers and how to gain consumer insights. There are a couple of learning objectives to this module. The first learning objective is identifying the 5 steps in marketing research process. The second learning objective is going to be talking about various types of secondary data sources. Then describing about the various primary data collection techniques and the differences between the different types of research designs. The fourth learning objective and the final learning objective is summarizing the difference between secondary research and primary research. Before we dive in, let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever wondered why companies seem to know exactly what you want? Whether it's the personalized recommendations on your favorite shopping app or the way advertisements seem to follow you online. It's all thanks to marketing research. By the end of this module, you'll not only understand how businesses gather information in the form of data, but you will also be able to think like a marketing researcher yourself. So let's get started. Let's start off our understanding on marketing research. Let me give you a quick example. Imagine you're launching a new energy drink. You've got the formula ready, but how do you know if people will actually buy it? This is where marketing research comes in. Let us understand by starting to define marketing research. It is a process of designing, collecting, analyzing, and reporting data to help businesses make informed decisions. This definition, if you look at very closely, has 4 parts. Designing, as it is a process, it has to be scientific in nature and carefully planned based on the objective and nature of the problem faced by the business. The second part is collecting information because that is where the data lies. That is where the consumer insights lie. Analyzing because that's where the insights are lying. Reporting because the businesses would need it to make informed decisions. The process helps reduce risks, understand customer preferences, and stay ahead of the competition. Let us start with the first step in marketing research process, which is defining the problem and research objectives. The first step is identifying the problem. A poorly defined problem can lead to wasted time and money. So let's put ourselves in the shoes of a marketing researcher. Let me ask you a quick question. If you were a pizza brand experiencing a decline in sales, what questions would you ask to identify the problem? Think about it for a moment. A possible approach could be, is it due to increased competition in the marketplace? Are my customers dissatisfied with the taste, dissatisfied with the pricing, or have their dietary preferences changed? By asking the right set of questions, you can clearly set the right research objectives. Let us look at the next step, which is developing a research plan. Now that we have the research objectives, how do we find the answers? Let's break it down. The first step is to identify the sources of existing data. You select the research approaches next and deciding on the sampling plan and data collection method. Let us talk about the different types of data that we collect. There are 2 main types of data that we use. The first one is the secondary data, the data which already exists. Think of it as checking restaurant reviews before you try out a new place. This could include reports, previous studies, or even government statistics. The second type of data is the primary data, which is the new data collected for a specific purpose, like conducting taste tests before launching a new product. This involves direct interaction with respondents through surveys, interviews, and experiments. Can you think of a situation where you've used secondary data in real life? Maybe reading a movie review before booking a ticket. We have all done that. A fashion brand which is looking at launching a new product might analyze these 2 different types of data, which is existing sales report, which is a secondary data, and conducting focus groups with potential customers, which is a primary data to understand the current trends. Let us go on to the second stage, which is types of research design. When designing a research plan, we must choose an appropriate research design based on the objectives of our study. There are three main types of research designs. The first one being exploratory research design. It is used when we need to gain initial insights into a problem and formulate hypotheses. It helps in understanding broader concepts. When I do not have enough insights, I get into the exploration mode. A good example could be a new cosmetic brand wanting to explore the kind of skincare concerns the consumers might have. They conduct in depth interviews and focus groups to gather ideas before even developing the product. The kind of methods that are used in exploratory research are literature reviews, focus groups, expert interviews, qualitative observations. The second type of research is called as the descriptive research, where the goal is to describe the characteristics of the market or a consumer group. This type of research essentially quantifies the data and identifies certain type of patterns. A quick example could be a fast food chain wanting to know what percentage of its customers are preferring vegetarian options. A large scale of surveys conducted to gather quantitative data on consumer preferences. The kind of methods that are involved in descriptive research are surveys, observational research, and secondary data analysis. The third type of research design is a causal research. Causal research establishes cause and effect relationships. It tests specific hypotheses by controlling variables and analyzing how changes in one factor might impact the other. Let's take a quick example. A beverage company wanting to test whether changing the color of the package is going to increase in the sales. They conduct an experiment with two groups, one that is exposed to original packaging and the other group which is exposed to a new design. The measure of the impact on purchasing behavior. The methods that are used are experiments, alpha-beta testing, and test markets. It is very important to choose the right kind of research design. Now, the choice of these three types of research design depends on the research objectives that the company is facing. If you're unsure about the problem, start with exploratory research. If you need a specific data, use descriptive research. And if you want to determine the impact of one variable on the other, where one is acting as a cause, the other is acting as an outcome, go with causal research. Think of a product or a service you use regularly. If you were a researcher for that company, which type of research design would you use and improve the offering? Let us look at some of the primary data collection methods. Let's talk about how companies collect primary data. Let's make it interesting by imagining different scenarios. The first type is observational research. Imagine you own a clothing store. Instead of asking customers what they like, you watch which sections they are spending the most time in. That's observational research. That's one form of collecting primary information. A retail store may track customer movement patterns within the store to determine which product placements attract the most attention. There is power to observational research. This involves gathering primary data by observing relevant people, actions, and situations. It provides real-time insights into consumer behavior without any direct interaction. The second type of research is ethnographic research. Ever wondered how companies design ergonomic office chairs? Researchers actually visit workplaces, watch people work, and then develop solutions based on real-life behavior. Ethnographic research takes observational research further by sending trained observers to watch and interact with consumers in their natural environments. This method helps understand consumer habits and decision-making process in the real-world settings. Let us take an example. A company that makes baby products might send researchers to observe how a new parent is using different baby care items at home. The second set is a survey research. Have you ever taken an online quiz that suggests a perfect skincare routine for you? That's the type of survey research. Brands use surveys to understand customer preferences and tailor their products. Survey research is one of the most widely used methods. It involves asking people structured questions about their knowledge, their attitudes, their preferences, and buying behavior. This approach is useful for gathering large amounts of data efficiently. An example could be a new restaurant considering menu changes may conduct an online survey to ask customers which dishes they prefer. The third type is experimental research. Think about two versions of an Instagram ad, one which shows a discount offer and one that is without a discount offer. Companies run such experiments to see which ad is getting more number of clicks. Experimental research actually involves selecting matched group of subjects, applying different types of treatments, and analyzing responses. This method is commonly used in product testing and marketing strategy evaluations. For example, a skincare brand might offer two different packaging designs for a moisturizer in different locations to see which attracts more buyers. Let us have a quick poll. If you had to take part in one of the type of researches, which one would you choose? Observational, ethnographic, survey, or experimental? Think about it and why would you do that? The next type of primary research method is focus groups. It's a personal contact method. Ever seen reality shows where a small group of people taste and rate different dishes? That's how exactly focus groups work. They involve small groups, 6 to 10 people. It requires a trained moderator. There are honest discussions that happen about a product or a service. So, focus groups essentially are small interactive discussion groups that are typically consisting of 6 to 10 participants guided by a trained moderator. These sessions help marketers gain deeper insights into consumer opinions. However, some focus groups might have a couple of challenges. They can be expensive. Findings may not be generalizable due to a small sample size. Consumers may not always be completely honest in the group settings because they might be guided by what the peers are saying. A quick example could be a smartphone brand launching a new feature might conduct a focus group to gauge consumer reactions before finalizing the product design. But there's a catch. People in focus groups don't always share their true opinions. What do you think might be the reason and why that might be happening? Pause and reflect before we continue. The next type of methods are online contact methods. Think about how many surveys you get in your email after shopping online. Online methods are like email surveys and social media polls. They are done to make data collection faster and cheaper. Marketers resort to these faster and cheaper methods. With advancements in technology, online contact methods have become very prevalent. Digital surveys, social media interactions, and online focus groups have also started offering cost effective and scalable ways to collect consumer data. For instance, a travel agency may use Instagram polls to ask followers about their dream vacation and the destination that they would choose for going on vacation, collecting valuable insights for marketing campaigns to happen with destination marketing organization. Next time you see a survey online, take a screenshot and analyze the questions. Are they clear? Do they lead you to a certain answer? This will help you to think like a researcher. Let us now look at the sampling plan. Let's say you want to survey people about a new fitness app. Would you go ahead asking every single person in your city about the fitness app? No. What you will do instead is select a small representative group. The second option is what we call as sampling. We select a sample to represent the entire population. A few key questions that we need to ask are: who should be studied, how many people should be surveyed, and how should we select them? A crucial aspect of marketing research is sampling. It's very imperative to the success of any kind of a research design. A sample is nothing but a segment of the population, a subset of the population which is selected to represent the whole. When designing a sampling plan, researchers must ask three key questions. Who is to be studied, which is defining the target population? How many people should be studied, which is sample size? And how should the people be chosen, which is the sampling method? For instance, A fast food chain might survey 500 customers across multiple locations to understand menu preferences before launching a new dish nationwide. A real-life example could be a political poll during elections that uses sampling to predict winners before the voting even happens, an exit poll, which is also acting as sampling. Let us look at some of the research instruments that help us. How do we actually ask people questions? Marketing researchers use different instruments to collect data effectively. The most common instrument is the questionnaire. Have you ever filled out a customer feedback form at a restaurant? Most of us have. That's a questionnaire in action. These can be open-ended questions like, what did you like about our service? Or a close-ended question which is asking you to rate the service from a 1 to 5, where 1 is a strongly disagree, 5 is a strongly agree. Questionnaires can be conducted in person, over phone, or even online. They are flexible in design, allowing for both close-ended and open-ended questions. They require careful wording and sequencing to ensure that there are unbiased responses. Going back to the same example, a fitness app launching a new feature might use a questionnaire to ask the users about exercise habits and preferred workout routines. Next type of research instruments are mechanical research instruments. In addition to questionnaires, researchers sometimes also use mechanical instruments like eye tracking devices, facial recognition softwares, and biometric sensors to measure customer responses. Have you ever noticed how some of the supermarkets have cameras tracking where shoppers go first? They're trying to decipher your pattern. Companies also use biometric sensors, eye tracking technology, and even facial recognition to analyze customer behavior. For example, a supermarket might use facial recognition software to analyze customer emotions when they see a new product display. That's about mechanical devices that are used to collect information. In this session, we explored the critical aspects of marketing research and how businesses gain consumer insights. Congratulations, you are now a strong researcher. You've now got a strong understanding of how marketing research works. Let's quickly recap what we covered. We covered the marketing research process, the distinction between primary and secondary data. We looked at various research approaches that included observational, ethnographic, survey, and experimental research. We looked at the 3 different types of research designs. We looked at the importance of focus groups, online contact methods, sampling plans, and research instruments. Next time you see an advertisement that feels like it was made just for you, take a moment to think, how did they know? It's all because of marketing research. Thank you for joining this session. I hope you had fun learning, and I look forward to seeing you in the next module.